The Splitting Hairs Podcast. Go big, go blue, go Jacks.
Welcome to the Splitting Hairs Podcast, presented by the Wild Hair of Brookings, South Dakota. Just a friendly reminder, this is the podcast where San Diego is not a state, Bison spelled with an S, and Wile E. Coyote never gets it done in the end. Gentlemen, how's it going?
All good. Got a little more hate for Montana now.
That's right. It's been a minute, right? It's been a minute since we last caught up. We just want to break some news here to everybody. It seems as though Clifton McDowell has entered the podcast transfer portal. He's moving on yet again for a seventh or eighth time. We're going to be friendly to him too. I legitimately wanted to get insights into how Montana operates as a program. Everybody knows it's a blue blood. I think it's been to 7 total national title games, only winning 2, the last one in 2001. Bobby Houck is 0-3 in natty title appearances. This is their opportunity. It was their opportunity to shed light on what they do well, what they don't do well, his experience within the program. We were pretty organized. We probably badgered him a little bit too much, to be honest. Brian and my follow-up was pretty thorough. You know, we like to close. I guess our close rate isn't great. We didn't roll out the red carpet. We should have thrown him some NIL money.
I guess some retweets or something.
Retweets, follows, likes, hearts, shares, all that stuff. That's a good point, though. I should bring it up. Y'all make sure to like, retweet, do whatever if you feel so inclined. It'll help us appear a little bit more in the search algorithms for all the social media channels. This is a fully funded endeavor by ourselves, more than likely, because all the costs I put into it from sponsorships pretty much bring us back to even. So we greatly appreciate it. You know, Stack and Brian are devoting their free time to be able to weigh in and provide their expertise from their playing days and, you know, their good football minds, albeit they're biased strictly to D-line. They provide value in their own right. So we appreciate it. And quick shout out to our sponsor again, the Wild Hair of Brookings, South Dakota. Go check them out. They're always running weekly specials. It is Friday, so they got plenty to choose from that we'll get in later in the show here. Also want to shout out the Utamark insurance team. For those of you who need health insurance products that work with Medicare, the Medicare space can be very mystifying. They can help clear all that up for you. So DM me, reach out. I'll get you in touch with the team over there so they can set you up with something that suits your needs. Also want to shout out Cottonwood Coffee of Brookings, South Dakota. They got their main location. And then, of course, the Bistro, where your boy worked as a young buck back in the day, serving up some of the caffeine, finest caffeine you could find back in the day. I don't know, technical difficulties. But they also have their online ordering platform at cottonwoodcoffee.com that you can grab your auto shipment direct to your door so you can stay up to date with all your favorite options there. So check them out. Grateful for everybody's support on that front. Gentlemen, when we look at this matchup coming in here, I started to think about it more and more. The 605 Hogs have only surrendered 6 sacks on the year, right? And so that could be pretty,
for sure.
Right? That was actually kind of shocking to me because I think the expectation had risen so high with guys like Greenfield and McCormick and Gus and, you know, Johnson in the past. We had him on the end, and then obviously Bernstein working really good with the rest of the crew. That it's kind of shocking to look up and only see 6 were surrendered on the year. What's your take on that? And do you think that we can play even better?
I think it's surprising to a lot of fans just because it looks a lot different. You know what I mean? Like from, you know, we have dudes like Mason and Greenfield, you know, Mason's highlight tape is one of the only cool O-line highlight tapes I've ever seen in my life, right? So it's fun to watch. It's all over the place. He's celebrating stuff like that. But I think with this year, you know, and against some pretty great defensive linemen, you see the cat that's up at USD, you know what I'm saying, that kind of hold him in check to a degree. NDSU gave up 2 sacks to that dude in the first 5 minutes of the game. Right?
McQueese.
Yeah. And for these guys to hold up, you know, against some pretty stiff comp, it shows that the future is going to be bright for these guys. And with, you know, with age and with, maybe new pieces that we fit in there next year. I'm excited to see what they're able to do.
Yeah, with the new drip, I'm taking the Jacks minus 23. I feel like it's a solid cover because, good teams win, great teams cover. So can't wait to see.
That's right. Let them know what you're talking about, Brian, for the people who aren't clued in.
Yeah, so looks like Mark went out of his way and, got the O-line some drip, some shoes. I don't know if they'd be stylish enough for Kyle and the hair, but do good for the big old boys,
Yeah, I'm more the loafer kind of guy these days, looking at some budget off-market Ferragamos, That's Italian leather for folks who don't know. Mainly I stick with the friendly soles of the Cole hands these days,
So these young bucks, though, man, get them some forces and get them right, man. Mark got our boys some 605 forces, bro. I think that's dope.
Were those forces or dunks? Educate me.
I think those are forces.
I believe.
Yeah, they look like forces. I would prefer dunks, so I would have to see. Maybe Chase will up the ante next year. You never know. You never know. But I'm just playing. I think that's an excellent, thoughtful gift from Mark, and it's kind of cool that there's resources available now for quarterbacks to be able to do that. It's that Applebee's money, like we were talking about earlier. But yeah, man, I can't take credit for the portal comment either. That was one of you jokers.
Oh yeah, dude.
Put your name on it. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. That's crazy though. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you got to get dunked on a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like if you say you're in and then you just ghost us, like, come on, man.
A little bit. It's all in good fun too. I mean, I was gonna respectfully frame him too, because if you really look at it, I don't think this offense is anywhere near what they were last year with Clifton. He wasn't a guy who was really looking to take off and run with it, but he was a guy that could extend plays for him. And I just don't know if they have that in their repertoire this year. And then you look at gentlemen, where is the offense going to come from? Like,
Oxmo's hurt, by the way. I found that out today. He was not going to be playing.
What are you implying?
I mean, it don't got nothing to do with him being. I mean, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not going to be the run game. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Not to hate him because he's white, but yeah, like.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking that. But thanks for outing yourself. No, I think when you look at
racism,
we know where the exciting whites play. South Dakota State.
So they're
and the Philadelphia Eagles. That's crazy.
Yeah, somehow they got
the first cornerback to start or get drafted in the first round, I should say, since Jason Sehorn.
Yeah, he landed a boom on people too, though.
Oh my God, that textbook tackle on Eric Henry, King Henry. Go.
Yeah, he's really sneaky athletic too. I think he's you know what I mean.
He's
one of those guys, good culture guy. Yeah.
Real lunch pail guy.
Hard hat, lunch pail, comes to work every day with the right attitude.
Brian calls him a good locker room guy, locker room builder. Love it. Well, gentlemen, we should touch on that since it is Pro Bowl voting time. Make sure you guys go to NFL.com/Pro Bowl vote. First in, last out, exactly, Kev. And then make sure you have your voices heard. The NFL is one of the only professional organizations that allows a fan vote to factor into guys who make the Pro Bowl. So Mason McCormick is on that ballot. So is Tucker Kraft. So is Christian Roseboom. And so is Dallas Goedert, one of the prominent tight ends in the game today. Tuck had himself a showing last night, gentlemen. There was a little chipping back and forth. Started to get a little heated. Obviously, Kirby Joseph has a reputation. Dan Campbell's words didn't lend themselves necessarily to their benefit as it pertains to league-wide perception of, their ethical play. It might be they play in the gray a little bit. They're very gritty. I certainly respect Dan Campbell just from what he's been able to do with the Detroit Lions program and really make them relevant. And then obviously establishing themselves as a power in the NFL currently, tops of the NFC North. That's the toughest division in football right now, statistically. And I don't think there's an argument when you look at the product on the field. They've been decimated on defense. And Stack, I know this is, pouring salt in the wounds for you, but just bear with us here. I think they Joseph has a reputation. He took Hawkinson out last year, tore his ACL up, tore his knee up pretty bad. He's known for ankle biting. And literally, if you look at the thing that's trending on Twitter right now with Tucker Kraft, he ducked his head as Kraft kind of gave him the curtsy and gave him the little "here I am, here I'm not" type thing. And then he pulled that ninja shit when he hopped up off the turf, which I found insane for a 6'5", 260
Kraft mac
pound
and cheese, baby.
Kraft mac and cheese. Get that sponsorship going. What the hell? Kraft is weak for not getting that. And
they're tripping.
Kraft Heinz Company, do your thing. Jeez, it's past time. But man, I think Tucker's really established himself. Wouldn't you gentlemen say that he can kind of do it all?
Yeah, he's when you talk about coming in the position that he had, I think he was behind like Musgrave at first, and then like when he got hurt, like it was almost wraps from there. And I mean, like he's just kind of like a kind of Packers guy, small town white dude who somehow is athletic. So all those guys with no teeth up there are like, like they see themselves in him. You know what I'm saying? So like, hey, yeah, as a culture guy, I hate to say it, Brian, but like it's like a kind of culture dude. Is like the type of guy you want on your team. And as like, the athletic ability, not afraid to put his face on somebody, or like, has those like athletic flashes of plays where he tries to like hurdle dudes, but also run through a dude's face. Like that's the Packers. You can't ask for a better tight end for your team right now. I think.
Exactly. And they run the ball better than anybody, I would say, or close to, when you look at the ways they manufacture the run game, doing a lot of trades, motions, swipe backs, counters, orbits with receivers, just really creative and really fascinating to watch those run schemes that Tucker fits in really well. Because when you have a wide tight end that you can detach, it's a game changer, right? Because he's a threat in the pass game. He's a threat in the screen game. He's a threat in the run game, being able to block attached or detached and swipe back on, big time DNs in the league, big time edges. That's next level. I should say I find it comical, gentlemen. We all kind of do. You guys are thick by trade, not by choice, right? But when writers like a gentleman who covers Sioux Falls is taking shots at Tucker, welcome to Motown and shit like that, it's so funny when grown men are criticizing people who are in the arena. I just find it hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, like, bro, if it's, I would understand like if Tucker was like kind of like speaks, right? But like he's kind of been going berserk like the last couple of years. Like you really can't ask him to do more. Like what more would you want him to do than what he's been doing? Like you really can't figure that out. Like even they brought that one play, I think is when they played the Lions the first time. That one play that we used to run where like Tucker will run under center when it's like 3rd and 1 or something like that, or 4th and 1. Like, dude, they absolutely can't ask him to do a thing more than he's already done.
Exactly. And he's leading the team in touchdowns. He's got 7. That's incredible for a tight end, especially in his second season. Sky's the limit for him. We should talk about Christian Roseboom. B. Will, you want to take that one away and highlight the things that he's been able to do?
Yeah, I mean, Roseboom's been top linebacker in the league this year. Like we put in our thread, that hit he had on Kamara last week, I think it was last week, was insane to think about, just a former Jackrabbit being able to display, talent on the field. Yeah.
And he's averaging, I think, 2 yards per run stop, which is incredible in the NFL, especially against guys like you highlighted, Kamara, who are so versatile in space. Him covering sideline to sideline, I think, he's tall. He's every bit of 6'2" and change. He moves really well for a linebacker, but also he's rated 9th, I think, overall, and 9th in coverage, which, covering guys. Yeah.
Not a milk check there, I guess.
The hilarious thing about that, that's not where I was going specifically, but yes, more or less at the FCS level, you're not seeing the type of caliber receivers all the time, week in and week out, that you're seeing in the what is that? What is that? NFC West? The NFC West with Arizona and the Kyler Murrays of the league, with Marvin Harrison's out there, and you got in Seattle, you got DKs, and just primetime dogs out there. It's a whole different world. Shout out to Christian Roseboom. Make sure you cast a vote for him. Love seeing the long mane flowing. He's a savage and lives up to it. When you look at other guys, we would be remiss if we didn't highlight the juggernaut, Mason McCormick. What he's done as a rookie for that offense is absolutely next level. He's rated as one of the highest interior O linemen in his run grades. I don't think that you'd have to check me. I don't think he's surrendered a sack. Maybe one TFL total.
And I think it was Dexter Lawrence.
Yep, it was against the Giants. I was watching that one, and he's an absolute savage. But yeah, man, it's a sight to see when Mason is setting the tone and getting up to next level in that run scheme. Obviously, they want to play a lot of play action scheme against their opponents because Russell Wilson, Danger Russ, Cooks, Mr. Unlimited. I got to bring it back. He's goofy as hell. Goofy as hell. I was able to cross paths with him when I was at Exos because his mental performance coach was doing work with us at the time, contracting with it. And he's a different cat, but I will tell you this. I went back and forth with Dallas when he was in Denver, and I still think that he's a prominent core. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. Do we think he's a Hall of Famer?
Oh, yeah. No, for sure. I mean, bro, you think about like early 2010s, like who was when you said like these are like the quarterbacks, like obviously Tom Brady, Peyton, who's still playing, and then like right after that, you'd probably say like Russ or like Aaron Rodgers. But like he was kind of regarded like.
Don't act like you don't know who Aaron Rodgers is, buddy.
I mean, like, what has he done? Like, just beat the Bears a few times? Like, you know what I'm saying?
You might as well name the stadium after him.
No, bro. What has he done for? We're gonna get into a whole other can of worms here, bro. But like,
yeah, he's just a part owner.
You guys think he is? I'll put it that way.
Part owner.
He's got a deep ball.
Yeah, man. Like, he's established himself. He's already known, and now they just need to let Russ cook with a solid running game, which Najee Harris is providing, along with that really solid front they got on the offensive line. Their defensive front was obviously next level too. Obviously, T.J. Watt. You look at Cameron Hayward, who's been doing it, I think, since I was a young lad. Cameron actually is from Peachtree Ridge High School, where in Duluth, Georgia, near where I'm from. In 8th grade, he's a year younger than me, but I think he like played up. He's one of those held back guys. I think he was a giant. Like, he's the reason parents complained and wanted their kids to be able to play weight limit football. But Brian knows down south we don't play like that. It's man up, son.
I'll say, bro, watching TJ Watt play, like if you're still playing football at any level, bro, and you playing D-line, like you just need to watch some of the unconventional stuff he pulls off. Like, he got a strip sack last week, bro. And, like, he was, like, about to make the tackle. But instead of, like, just tackling him, he just reaches a little further and just, like, taps his hand to knock the ball out first. Like, bro, like, who even thinks of that? Like he's dirty. And I think I got to shout out Mason again. Like, he saved Najee Harris's career right now. He's in the process of saving that man's career.
Not only that, but to think if he didn't give up a sack to Dexter Lawrence. At the time they played, Dexter Lawrence led the league in sacks as a D tackle.
That's otherworldly. And you look at it, I mean, he's consistently giving ample time to throw in the pocket, which is nuts for a rookie. He hasn't found his ceiling yet, and that's exciting to see. So, I mean, when push comes to shove, we'll see what ends up happening with the trajectory of his career, but it's looking bright so far. And then we got a shout out an OG. I mean, he was there when you were there, Stack, but Dallas Goedert, I mean,
you know what you're gonna get at him. Yeah.
Fleet of foot, when he could stay healthy, I mean, flip a coin between him and Kelsey and Andrews for who you'd want on the field, especially when it comes to pass threat. And I think Kellen Moore's done an excellent job of staying within what that offense does well. Obviously, you add Saquon. I mean, shit's going to open up. He's an unbelievable athlete, can do it out of the backfield, through the air, and on the ground. And then when you actually use your tight ends with drag routes, crossers, tight end screens, deep crosses, all types of stuff like that, the sky's the limit, good stick routes, stuff like that. just get the ball in their hands and let them work. And Dallas has been doing that for quite some time now, 6 or 7 years, I think, which is incredible. So those are the NFL Jacks that you can vote for. We also got other guys.
You got to shout out Isaiah, who got a touchdown. What was it, last week?
Yeah, we do. Isaiah Davis, rookie touchdown from Aaron Rodgers, a little shovel pass. I think, gentlemen, that would be one person. You talk about GOATs in the conversation of quarterbacks from the 10s, and he's still playing to get your first touchdown from Aaron Rodgers. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I was hoping Isaiah was just gonna run up to him and just punch him in the nuts, but I can't have everything I want.
Christmas is a couple weeks away. Yeah, you might be waiting a while. Don't hold your breath. But yeah, that was pretty cool to see. I like those black threads too that they're wearing. Yeah, man. I guess we've covered all that. We should circle back and dive into this second round matchup at home. As we mentioned before, the Jacks haven't seen the Griz at home on either Coughlin Alumni's turf or now the Dana's turf since 1970. So we're looking at 30 and 24. What is that? 54 years. 54 years.
That's crazy.
That's insane. A half a century and change since the Griz were confident enough, man enough to roll into Brookings, and it wasn't by their own accord either.
Cowards.
So I think that's wild. That's wild. As we were talking about earlier, how are they going to manufacture offense?
In short,
go ahead.
I said, to be real, bro. And I hate doing it because the only other time I kind of did this was I think it was Youngstown. Bro, they're gonna have to come out of the locker room, right? Everyone's gonna have on a rosary, kick off the ball, first play, we all just get on our knees and pray for the first 3 plays, God, please give us a chance. Because bro, lining up against this defense, bro, and with Otzmo hurt, who is your number 2 running back and a quarterback, and as good as Junior Bergen is, bro, is he doing everything by himself? No, he couldn't do it last year. You know what I'm saying? That's just not how it goes. So
that's the thing. And he doesn't even lead their offense in targets, right?
Which is a coaching issue, maybe, or maybe just a QB issue. Because that's the dude. Honestly, bro, he's got to touch the ball. If they want a chance every other play.
Yeah. I mean, they got to find ways to get him the ball. It was very difficult last year in the national title game. So just to look at a little bit of the statistical comparison in that last head-to-head matchup, the teams aren't too dissimilar. They are at the quarterback position and, of course, at some spots on the defense for the Griz. But you look at third down efficiency, they were 4 of 16. They rushed the ball for net yardage of 47. They rushed it for 30 times, just 4 shy of what the Jacks rushed it for at 34 attempts for 188 yards at a 5.5 yard clip. Their yards per clip, 1.6. When you cannot get a run game going, you can't become one-dimensional and take the Jacks on. I don't care if it's a national championship. Has the team transformed this opponent? Has the team transformed that much over the course of 11 months or so to be able to get this? Not even. Yeah, 11 months to be able to get this done. I don't know. Like I said, I think scheme is going to have to be to their advantage. Likewise, I think they're going to need to see the Jacks shoot themselves in the foot. And like we've seen some teams have a little bit of an effect. I don't know that this is a scheme that they can really rely on or hang their hat on, but maybe using the Jacks' pursuit against them in some creative ways just to kind of leverage their discipline and responsibility. Maybe, I don't know, try to pull some people in different ways. But gentlemen, you're the D lineman. You weigh in on how you think that might be effective or might not be.
The only way I see them having a chance is if we can't score the ball, they can't score the ball, and they get lucky on punt.
Yeah.
Shrinking the game.
It would have to be special teams.
It has to be special teams. That's the only chance.
Yep, shrinking the game. They're going to have an otherworldly special teams performance, and we're going to have
Bergen is it? My bad. Bergen is very capable of, like, being honest.
Yeah.
And we'd have to shit the bed. We'd have to punt it right to them, put way too much hang time on it, or not enough. Just drive it too far, shank it. I don't know. Last season in our contest in the championship, that was one of the issues for us, right? They punted to us. It carobed off of one of our guys who was, trying to get a block, and that's how they got a cheap turnover. Mark did throw an interception in that game, so I don't know. It was more a function of a forced ball in a just stare down read than it was, lending itself to something that they threw at him. So Mark had 62% completion percentage in that game. We were really balanced offensively. I think one of the things I've found encouraging is as the games progress throughout the year, the coaching staff on offense seemed to find its stride in terms of play calling, with the exception of some of the early scripted plays. I think as the game went on, the adjustments were better as opposed to maybe the early script. So something to watch, at least in terms of how the Jacks decide to attack the Griz defense. Gentlemen, Brian, what's the defense that they're running? What do you like out of their defense?
Out of Montana's defense?
Yeah.
I mean, it allows, like, kind of, how we were talking about last year, they run that, like, zero nose. Like, I think that kind of allows your linebackers to just, like, fit and just make plays right away.
I would say it kind of confuses a little bit of, like, the QB's reads it, because you don't know where the pressure's coming from, if the safety's blitzing and the backers dropping out in coverage, or vice versa. All right, there's a lot of different things you can do out of that defense and where they can bring pressure from.
Yeah, they're an odd front, right? So one of the things that we have to do, Coach Stig was instrumental in breaking some of this down for me, is move the bubble. If you guys are familiar with, obviously, a traditional 4-3, you want to run at the 3 tech because that's the bubble that favors your numbers, right? Your numbers in the box. So when you look at a 4-3, that's traditionally a 7-man front, 7 people in the box, right? You can insert a safety, bring an 8th man into the box for short yardage, things like that. But when you run these odd fronts, there's more second-level defenders, and you have to shift that bubble to create favorable numbers in the box so that you can run. That's why you'll see a lot of unbalance sometimes. You'll see bunch sets. You'll see offset tight ends. You'll see different things like that. Our tight ends, shout out to Kevin. He's been clearing the way really well lately, and Angel's been on a hot streak. I would say he's our number one back outside of Amar's like insane game he had against, I want to say it was Murray State, right? But still, just absolutely electric in that one. So, I mean, yeah, it'll be interesting. What are we going to do through the passing game? I think that's the biggest question. Is Graham Goring healthy? Is Wildy good? Kentrell Prejean has really stepped up to be an added weapon, but, he's got limited touches. Are we going to get him more involved? There's a lot of question marks still, and this is why it's so exciting that we're finally going to get to play again instead of having to sit on our hands and wait.
So, yeah, and I think – what these dudes deserve, though, is like a healthy dose of run game. We got, like, if Chase back and then, like, all our backs are healthy, like, bro, you score your first few, right, trying to go through there, look pretty, all that. After, like, that second score, like, okay, like, no homo, put it on them. Like, it's just time to let's get on out of here.
And I don't think – correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen, because you guys played with these new rules. I don't think – playoffs count against your red shirt, do they?
They don't.
No, they don't.
You get 4 regular season games, and then you get the playoffs.
I hate you sons of bitches for that, but also this is incredible because Maxwell Woods is going to eat at some point in the playoffs. He is going to eat. He's an added weapon for sure. Just continue to just build the depth in that running back room. We got another Mojack as well, that's going to get some carries. His name always escapes me. I'm such a shithead for that. But he's going to eat as well. We got options, right? It's better to have options, especially with the deep backfield. You can spell some guys with reps, but you got guys you can rely on too. Ball security's been good for Maxwell. It's going to be good to see. At the tight end position, I think Grayton Gannon, is he out for the year with a broken foot?
To be discovered.
To be discovered. Yeah, we don't know. They keep it close to the vest as they should, and I don't even know if he has a broken foot. I just made that up. I know.
I think he might be on the right track to hopefully help us out down the road. But
a little teaser. You heard it from Brian first. Our own
Brian.
Our own name
on that. You get a call from Jimmy.
Brian, you said what? Chase is going to get 20 snaps this game? Is that what you said? Chase Mason?
Yeah. What were you talking about, Brian? Well, yeah, you don't want none of that. I got a killer Jimmy impression. Don't me get a few.
Let me hear it.
Come on.
All right. Stack, your demeanor is terrible. That was literally what I heard from every day. It's like, I can't say what I want to say because I don't want Jimmy canceled, but that's just all you can get for now.
Moving on.
Wow. Dude, Coach Rodgers, I'll never forget my first spring coming in, just his demeanor during the gauntlet, during the spring. You know what I'm talking about, Stag, little spring.
Yeah, you got to lose your voice to do a good Jimmy impression too. I don't got it in me right now.
Dude, all I know is, and this is insane, it's purely what's coursing through his veins too. It's no exogenous substances here, but anytime, you guys know what I'm talking about too, game time comes, you hear him start to get into his rant flow, then you see his little his pins and needles is his retina, right? Just looks like the eye of a needle, and he's just tweaking. He's just
get off the ball,
and he's so aggressive and intense with it. You're like, damn, he really is on this. That's incredible. I love it.
He's a man for sure.
And you're like, oh, he's gonna mess up his words. He's too angry. Nope. He finds them. He finds them. It's pretty incredible. When your head coach can get you hyped like that. But then looking at his demeanor on the sidelines, he doesn't allow the game to become too much for him emotionally. He's locked in, and people think he's always angry, he's brutish and all that. No, he's just focused. That's just a focused look, and he's so dialed in intellectually with the game. Just coming from a football family, my grandfather coached in the Ivy Leagues at Brown. He coached at John Carroll University. My cousins all played Division I football and all that. Being around intelligent guys, Jimmy is way up there in terms of X's and O's, schemes, not just defense, just the game as a whole. Because you know what bothers me, and I know you guys too, and I know Stack for sure. When you can't manage a game like Matt Eberflus, and you don't know, football is football at the end of the day. It's simple, but it's not easy, right?
You got to know how many craziest thing I've ever seen.
You got to use your timeouts effectively. Jimmy's done it. You got to understand. You got to understand your team and scheme, right? Like against Incarnate Word, where everybody was wanting us to go for a safety when we had him backed up, but he didn't want to leave his guys on the edge, and he wanted to take it to halftime because they were getting the ball at half. Smart man. I mean, he's made really wise decisions and not let the moment become too big. Let's deep dive quick while I got it pulled up into Montana Grizzlies statistics for this season, kind of turning the page on the contest from the national title game. When you're looking at their points per game, they're going 34.54, but they're giving up 25.15 to our defense's 9.5.
Big Sky football. Don't hate
9.5. Insane. So something's got to give in that department. Their total points per game on the season, 449. They're giving up 327. We've given up 140-something. Filthy.
Yeah.
Filthy. Same number of games. No, actually, one fewer game. They played one playoff game, obviously. In terms of first downs, they're pretty balanced in terms of rushing and passing. They've got 20 penalties on the offensive side of the ball for 289 yards. So when you divvy that out over a 13-game span, not too many. They play pretty, and I'm sure some of those penalties were heavier in different games. So when you average that out throughout the course of the season, they play pretty clean football. So that'll be something to keep an eye on. Their opponents have significantly more, almost doubled up at 36. So we got to hope that the refs are neutral and they don't get too involved in the game. I hate when that happens, and I'm sure the fans do as well. When you look at what they've rushed for this year, total combined as a team, 2,955. That's their gross yardage. Their yards lost is 289. They've rushed the ball 475-ish times for an average of 5.6 per attempt. Something's going to give in that department, gentlemen. This is not the Big Sky defense.
Oh, no shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's like kind of the biggest – I think that's the biggest difference that a lot of those teams kind of see out of like Missouri Valley teams. Like when they play them, like that's kind of where like the backbreaking is. Like, oh, we ain't never seen defense like this. Like they can kind of like offenses wise, like they can kind of sometimes like seeing that run game that we have like a lot of gap scheme, like because they're used to like at least when I was playing, like it was a lot of like flow stuff, like outside zone, not even a whole lot of duos either. So like that's something that the Jacks do that those guys don't get a whole lot of practice at. But like I feel like once you have to score on like a defense that sees like gap scheme and power and duos all the time, you think you're gonna do that by running outside zone and like, you know, or even when the Jacks, we had to see mid zone so much, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, a lot of the offensive lines you have like are not going to cut it, gang.
Especially with how much we stunt in the defensive line, not only in rundowns but passing downs as well. I think we have to. I don't know. That'd be an interesting statistic on how many times the D line moves.
So with Jimmy up there, bro, it's literally probably every other play.
And then when you look at what they're giving up, gentlemen, to their opponents, 3.8 to our 6.5. So something's got to give, even if that trims down to 4.5. So that's 2 yards fewer per rush on average for the season. And what I would deem a tougher defensive conference, that's still a first down per 3 carries. So something's got to give there, gentlemen. Something's got to give. Opponents for them in terms of rushing are rushing for 140 a game. We're rushing for 243 per game.
That's insane for one.
That's insane. That's an insane delta there, gentlemen, and for the fans listening. Now our defense is only giving up. Any guesses, gentlemen?
Oh, rushing yards per game?
Yep.
I don't know, probably like 73, something like that.
What do you got, Brian?
I was gonna say 68, but
Jeez, no, it's a little bit more than that. 90.5 per game.
Yeah, I was trying to glaze.
I'm pretty sure that's our one of our goals, but the way the defense has been playing.
Yeah, now, who knows, bro?
Now this is where it gets wild. How many rushing touchdowns have we surrendered on the year?
I'm trying to think. Oh, did USD have one? Maybe. Because I remember they were in the red zone. No, but then we got that pick. I think it was like Graham got that pick or something like that. I'm actually trying to like remember actual ones.
Just throw out a number.
Brian, don't leave me out the drive, bro. I know you.
Bro, you was going through a whole. I thought you were gonna pull out a hypothesis here. Good
I'm thinking.
He's
You're
writing
staring off into space, talking. I was like, "Oh, he's cooking here," and then you didn't say shit.
Get my thesis going.
I would guess
like
you get
4,
around
something like
8.
that, something crazy, yeah.
So you got 4, you got 8. We're gonna split the difference. It's 6. 6 rushing.
Go word, Ryan.
Hey, gentlemen,
we're right there.
Gentlemen,
go word, man.
Neither of you. Stack has the showcase showdown though. He's gonna take that home. For any of you guys who watched The Price is Right when you stayed home from school back in the 1980s, it's absurd. So you guys don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. I feel like I'm not that old. I am
daytime
not that old.
television, like you know what I'm saying? Maybe some Maury or something like that. Jerry Springer.
You are not the father. Moving on. This is pretty crazy. When you look at their passing, this is kind of where they got a little bit. This is different. This is where the gap kind of narrows and we mirror each other a bit more. So in terms of their overall completion percentage, they're passing 6.5 yards per attempt for an average of 213.85 yards per game, 19 touchdowns. Now they're giving up 20 through the air and 214 per average yards per game. When you look at South Dakota State through the air, we're eclipsing that 6.5 mark. Ours is 7.45, so 7.5 if you round up. Our average per game, though, is a little bit below that. So it's 198. So everybody knows we want to establish the run first, clearly, considering we have 35 touchdowns on the ground as well, which is a lofty number, split across a bunch of different backs. So we can get it done in lots of ways. Their total yardage through the air is 2,700. They're giving up 2,700 total as well to opponents. So Big Sky likes to air it out, 2,700. That's a lot given up. We've only surrendered 1,086. So barely 1,000 yards passing throughout the entire conference on us.
Which is crazy.
That's also bananas when you think about it. So when you look at the returns, this is where it gets interesting too. Kickoff returns pretty standard, 22.4 average. That's their kickoff average. 23.38 is what the opponents are. So a lot of touchbacks, fair catches, stuff like that. Punt average, that can't be right. Their punt average is 18.9 yards per punt.
I seen that and I thought I was correct.
You're like,
that's return.
I think it's after returns too, right?
Is that their punt? That's their punt average. That's their punt average. Their punt average for opponents is 6.4. That's strange. I don't know if I'm looking at that right. They are averaging about 6 picks a game, 7 picks a game. Opponents are averaging 2.5. So they've thrown for 6 picks combined as a team. Their punt average per game. So that must be their average return is 18.94, which is strange with Junior Bergen on their team. Their punt average yards per game is 42. Their net's 39. So obviously they're pinning some or they're letting some go into the end zone. They're only 16 of 22 in field goals on the year. When you look at us, as far as field goal percentage, we're 12 of 18. So they get the nod in that department. It's kind of similar, both sides. Onside kicks are 1 for 1. That's pretty crazy when you look at it. In terms of penalty yards, I know we're getting deep into the weeds here, but we're trying to find some point of difference here to give a nod to the Griz so we can give them some hope coming into this game.
Wow. That's
wow. That's not strong. Just calling a spade a spade. It's not a slight. Numbers never lie.
It's not a slight if it's true. You feel me? Like, I know, I feel where you're coming from.
Yeah. It's on them if they get in their feelings about it. Do something about it.
How about that?
How about that? Catch me outside. Because it's going to be 43 degrees, folks. 43 degrees. Catch me outside at the game, at the Dana. Time of possession, this is good for them. About 30 minutes, but their opponents are averaging about the same. So that's pretty good. If we can possess the ball, then they can't even do anything with it, right? Long, sustained drives, starting fast. That's what we want to do. This is where I want to get into it. They do have 27 sacks on the year. If we look at the Jacks, we have 26. And that's in a more pass-happy conference as well. And a lot of those sacks from us are coming from interior D linemen and linebackers. So you guys know that chain gang will eat, and it will be disruptive if they let it. So,
Brian, were they physical last year? Like, were they kind of?
I mean, 23-3, brother. Technically, I mean, I guess they did score the second most points on us in the playoffs. Shout out them.
But like they weren't
hey, I gotta say, Stack, when you rush the ball for 47 yards a game, I mean, in the national title, and you're facing a team now that only gives up 90 yards a game total on average against teams like North Dakota State.
The title game doesn't count because Clifton got hurt, remember? So, like, that whole game, nothing else matters.
Well, even when you factor in Ollie Gordon, he only had, I think, like $120 or $112, somewhere in that range. And really, he was more of a weapon in the passing game. And so, like, that's the high mark in rushing on the year against the Jacks. You know,
and they were rushing him in the fourth, trying to, boost the stats a little bit.
They were.
Just to go 3-8 on the year.
Crazy.
If we control the ebbs and flows of that game and Mark gets a few throws back, I think the complexion of the season looks even different. But that being said, we've only given up 8 defensive total TDs that Dan mentions here against the FCS total, which is insane when you think about it.
That's crazy.
So
it's crazy.
As long as we don't get the crew here, Dan mentions as well that ref the EKU Villanova game, which was just bonkers to me. Some of those calls that they made in there. I think the Zebras should be neutral and not be a huge factor. We have played pretty disciplined. It'll be interesting to see how technical the boys look coming off of a improvement week, whatever you want to call it. It's the same damn thing. You had a week off to improve or as a bye where you weren't playing. So, yeah, man, it's going to be interesting to see when push comes to shove, what is the difference in these statistics, right? What is going to factor in the most? Is it going to be them through the air? Is it going to be them establishing the run on the ground because the Jacks are sluggish coming off of a bye? There's a lot of different variables that come into play, but I think, like you mentioned, I'm not being tongue in cheek. They don't have Clifton at quarterback, and I'm not sure they upgraded with Fife. Statistically, they didn't. It doesn't look like, and they were playing in the Big Sky. Shout out to Montana State and Idaho, but I mean, are they head and shoulders above the teams that they face in the Valley that are the cream of the crop? I don't know. We'll see. That's why they play the game.
Like we said, man, like if you're playing for Montana or your son's playing for Montana or something, just like go to bed tonight, open up the Bible, Philippians 4:13. Like, I can do all this through Jesus Christ who strengthens me. That's my game plan. I'm throwing that on our game plan tomorrow, bro. Like, hey guys, let's just go out there and let's just play the way we're supposed to play.
Damn, you want all the smoke. I'm gonna get so many texts.
Dude, because you guys talking about? You gotta call it straight though. You feel me though? Like you were saying, like, God,
I said the word hope, and you came at me, and now you're out here saying you need to pray.
They should
pray the rosary.
They should. You know what I'm saying? Like, open up, like the little verses your grandma gave you. Like, you playing for Montana, bro? Go read through those tonight, gang.
Yeah, Jimmy's trying to shut the pod down tomorrow, boys.
Yeah.
Oh shoot! I forgot about that, Coach. I didn't mean none of that. Actually,
he said in the kill switch.
I
thought we were not live.
Oh my God!
No, it's I mean, respect to Montana. They're really still the blue blood. I mean, you go to 7 national titles. I mean, that's incredible. They were the team in the 10s, and Bobby Houck is still Bobby Houck. So, you need a little tension too. He got into it. One sec, Brian. He got into it with Fife, right? But like,
which is crazy.
I mean, sometimes you got to get in someone's face to get the most out of them, especially this younger generation that's soft, present company excluded. I said excluded.
I was looking.
Yeah. What you got, Brian? What were your thoughts on that?
No, I was just gonna say shout out Bobby Hawk. I feel like we should have opened the podcast with before the second quarter goal line play, where he was like, "We're gonna figure it out right now," and then they get the goal. Then we get the goal line stop.
I know that was correct. But like, bro, like to his credit, like you really can't like do nothing about that. Like you're really not thinking like, this dude from Iowa is gonna come out here and make the craziest play I've probably ever seen with my own eyes. Like you're Bobby Hogg, but you're not thinking that.
That was absurd. I mean, sometimes what do they say? It comes down to not X's and O's, but Johnny's and Joe's. And I'm just getting in my bag of cliches tonight. But Adam Bach was that Johnny on the spot at that goal line. Damn, that's a bar. Keep going. This is why they sponsor.
Look at him. Look, and he made a stink face too, Brian. He said,
feeling myself a little bit here.
Yes. Exciting whites, boys.
Oh,
yeah. We got to do what we can, Hard pivot to our competition on pods instead of on the field. So,
right.
But yeah, man. So let's get into our players of the game and predictions as we work up towards our waning minutes here.
Give me Tucker Large for defense, please. I'm going to test him through the air. Junior Bergen, I would assume that he's going to be around him a lot for the game.
What you got, B-Will?
So disappointed, Stack.
I left them for you. No, I did it for you. We're all D linemen here. I gotta.
One time I didn't take a D lineman, and Kyle was like, "The fuck are you doing?"
No, I purposely did that for you because before you was on here, like who my guy was every week, Kyle. Who was it?
Yep.
Jared DePriest every week.
Yep.
You can have him, Brian. That's fine.
Well, that's what I'm gonna take. Jared DePriest on defense.
I like it. I mean, Stack was getting all preachy and talking about prayers and stuff, and maybe DePriest will baptize his opponent on Saturday.
Now that's a bar. Now that's a bar.
There you go. We got bars on bars here. Just call me Cliff. Call me Cliff. Not McDowell. Sorry about that. When you're looking at, boy, we're getting into it tonight. I'm gonna have to go with that man. Some call him Frankel, but respect the name. It's definitely Caleb Francel, who got some love in the Buck Buchanan Award voting. But when push comes to shove, I think he's going to be all over the field on Saturday, wrecking shop. So I'm going with him. Pivoting over to offense, who do we like, Stack?
I don't want to give like a lame answer though, but I will. Angel. Sorry, guys.
Nothing lame about it. I mean, he's been playing the best ball.
Truthfully.
If I have to go, I'm going to go Griffin Wilde.
Ooh,
GFW.
Okay. I like it. GFW.
Is that what people call him now?
Hey, I swear I've seen that on Twitter. I don't know where I've seen it at, but
after
it was
that
on
Montana State game, dude. After that Montana State game as a 165-pound receiver soaking wet, that fool earned it. And the F is for finisher.
Go ahead, Stack.
No, I said,
you already got the prayers up.
Am I allowed to use a Wheezy bar here? Come on.
No, hey, no, you got it. You got it, gang.
I got the pass. Let's go. So we're getting spicy, folks. We like it tonight. We're having some fun. Completely sober too. It's great. When I'm looking at offense, gentlemen, I'm gonna throw a little wrench in here and do something I don't think I've done since the Juggernaut was playing. I'm gonna go Evan Biernston on offensive line. I think he's gonna establish it. I like his mentality. He plays mean. And I think, we're going to need it just to start strong. So I'm going to go with him.
Who are we going with special teams, though?
Yeah. Damn, you just glossing over 605 Hog?
No, I ain't mean to do that. Well, I mean, it's O-line, though, right? You feel me? Like, we talked about Mason for like 5 minutes. Man, look, they can have that. Because, no,
right. Take us into special teams. I love
the reason why I was thinking about it is I'm like, bro, somebody just gonna have to set the tone and knock Junior Bergen's block off. And who's gonna do the Grambulance? Give me the Grambulance.
Oh,
coming down there and taking his helmet off.
I love it. Hopefully, no. Yeah, that's one thing we need to not have, right? Against Southern Illinois, first play of the game from scrimmage. We need no ejections Keep your pad level down and hit them like that exciting white Cooper DeJean. Cooper DeJean. Hit on a rise, gentlemen. So we're gonna go with on special teams. We're gonna go with Graham. Who you got, B-Will?
I guess we're gonna go Dustman. I feel like he's not gonna outkick his coverage again. Safe route, boys.
No, I like it. Yeah, he's gonna have to be on his game, particularly. The best defense against that is obviously not to punt, but being practical. We might see one or two, and he's gonna have to be on it and dialed in. So that's a good pick. That doesn't leave me many options.
Just double down the Grambulance, please.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do.
Yes.
Graham, he's going to be all right, fine. I'll go 1A Graham, 1A Graham, 1B. Shoot, I if I could even name some. Colton Tilford, he's on special teams. He's a safety. He's played with some fire this year. I'm going to go with him. 2-6, old 2-6.
There you go.
Cool. All right, let's get into score predictions. And remember, close to reality, not 100 piece like I put up against Augustana.
100 piece. Oh God, let's not mention that anymore. Oh.
So the spread, gentlemen, has come down a bit to 20. It's come down a bit to 21. Just a factor.
Thanks, Hard Rock.
Okay. 31-9. Boom.
Okay.
I like it. I was going to say 35-6.
Okay. All right. Is that what you're rolling with?
Yeah.
All right. So just a refresher for everybody. They're scoring about 34 points a game. We're scoring about 36. They're giving up about 24 points a game. We're giving up 9.5. Taking all that into account, I'm going to say we're going to score 31 and they're going to score 13. I think they're going to roll out their field goal unit a good bit if they're in scoring position. I know Jimmy would be fuming that I picked more than 10 points, but I'm trying to give him some flowers.
Probably not going to be happy with.
I'm going to say that's under the standard. Let's go. Yeah, terrible pod, boys. Never again on a Friday.
Yeah,
I'm trying to be practical. I've been dialed in pretty close the last few weeks, almost on the spot. But I think Stack's pick, that 160 spot we had was like almost dead on. No, it was Scott. Scott was like pulled it out of the hat. It was impressive. Scott's got 34-9 here, so we have to give him some love. Scott, I sent you a link, homie. I don't know if you're tied up, but we'll get you on next time since Clifton obviously is Mr. Reliable.
Mr. Limited.
Right? Limited. Love that. Love that. Gentlemen, talk amongst yourselves real quick before I dive into sponsors.
I don't know.
Honestly,
we need to get the fans out, gang. That's what we need to talk about. That's what we need to talk about, gang, because you got 2 chances to watch these dudes play for the rest of the year, bro. Because guess what? Like, you're a Brookings guy. Like, unless you're related to them, you're not going to Fargo. So guess what? Pack out the stadium for the next 2 weeks, please. It changes the game for the boys.
Double down on that, Kyle.
I love it. I love it. Guys, get your tails to Dana J. Dykehouse Stadium. Games at 1 o'clock, 43 degrees, no precipitation of note, just a little bit of wind, 15 miles per hour. It's going to be great. Might as well be shorts weather in Brookings, right? I think you got 2 guaranteed spots. You never know how the playoffs could shake up. If someone stubs their toe, a little someone up north, it might be 3. You never know. You never know. So I want to run through our sponsors and thank them again. Shout out to the Wild Hair, Brookings, South Dakota, for being a title sponsor of the pod. Want to run through their specials. It's happy hour every day, 3 to 7. That includes today. All-day happy hour on Sundays and Tuesdays. $3 Wild Islands on Thursdays. Fireball Friday. That's today. Shots are $3. $1 tequila shots today only. That's Friday. $4 double wells Wednesdays and Fridays. I think that's today. Game day specials on Saturday are $10 bucket of domestics and $22 buckets of seltzers for the ladies for sure. Because if you got your hands on a seltzer, you trying to live skinny, what are you trying to do? Do it right. Do it right. Only during the Jacks game is that offer legitimate. And then all Jacks football games are on there, but we know you're going to be in the Dana. We know your tails are going to be there. You're going to be standing, screaming, getting loud, getting hyped for the reigning back-to-back national champs of South Dakota State University. Shout out to them. They do a great job. We appreciate them for being a title sponsor. Also want to shout out Utermark Insurance. They have health insurance plans that work with Medicare. So to demystify the entire healthcare experience, please get in contact with them. You can DM me. I can plug you with them for more details. Want to shout out Cottonwood Coffee. If you want to be alert and be able to cheer start to finish for all 4 quarters of tomorrow's game, make sure you get your fix at Cottonwood. They have their main location, and then they have the bistro as well. So make sure you get your calories in, protein, make sure it fits your macros. Get yourself a breakfast burrito. I love it. Sausage, preferably. Make sure you dabble in some of their drip coffee. They also have phenomenal espresso to make sure you're amped and ready to hurl all your pleasantries at the game. They also, as a reminder, have cottonwoodcoffee.com where you can subscribe and get some auto shipment direct to your house, and you can save a penny or two doing so. With that, gentlemen, it's always fun to shoot the breeze with you guys. Appreciate you very much. And with that, go big, go blue, go Jacks.